Welcome to the Progtalks by the Progspace. Welcome to the Progtalks, an interview series by the Progspace where we will be talking to musicians in all corners of the progressive music scene.
Welcome back to another episode of the Progtalks. I'm your host Dario, and as always, before we jump in, a quick reminder for that cup of coffee that helps us out a lot. Link in the description. Please like and subscribe anywhere you can find us. As I said, it helps us out a lot. And now, without further ado, calling from France, Vivien Lalu. Hi, Viv. How are you doing?
Bonjour, bonjour.
Bonjour.
And you, my friend. Ça va bien. Surviving.
It's great to see you and great to hear you, and I'm super excited about your new album because it's a very special one. It's called Paint the Sky, and I think you just received the copies of it.
Yes.
Right. Today, and it's out on January 21st on Frontiers Music. And it is the third album under the name Lalu, right?
Exactly, yeah.
The first one was Oniric Metal in 2005, all those years ago. I remember listening to it on the Proglos radio. And then 2013 was Atomic Arc. And both of these albums were with Martin Lemar on vocals from Mekong Delta and Tomorrow's Eve. And then you had a little European tour with an amazing all-star cast, and you can hear people can hear the music from that tour live at P60, digital-only record that you put out in 2015. Correct?
Correct. 100% correct. Bravo.
But now, you have a new album after quite some time, and it's very different. First of all, the first two singles that are out already, Reset to Preset, and the first one. What was the first one?
The first one, it was The Chosen Ones. The single video, you mean? Yeah.
Yes. I mean, people can hear firstly, it's not Martin Lemar on vocals. It's of course Damian Wilson. With his very distinctive voice, and also the music is not that much melodic prog metal anymore. It's a very, very new direction, very new style, more prog rock. So I want to hear all about it, how it came to that.
I'm just growing older. I think that's the thing. That as much as the years go by, you know, I go back to my roots. Actually, I listen less metal, you know, more prog rock. I listen a lot of the stuff I was listening when I was a kid or a teenager, and I don't know if it's the same for everybody when we grow older. But I kind of mellowed down a bit.
Funny thing is, for me, it's the opposite. Because like when I started getting into prog rock and prog metal in my teens, there was like this barrier with you know, the really extreme stuff. I only like the hardest I could tolerate was Opeth, and that was it. But a couple of years ago, I really got into the brutal tech death and all those stuff again as well. So.
Well, my favorite, one of my favorite bands right now is Gojira, a French band, which is fairly heavy. So yeah, I still listen to heavy music. I'm a huge fan of Devin Townsend, as well as his side project that he stopped, you know, Strapping Young Lad, the really great band. I love extreme music, but I don't listen that much of it anymore, to be honest. And when it comes to making music, I really enjoy prog. Yeah. And
leading up to Paint the Sky, did you? When did you start working on it, or when did you start writing the songs?
I started in 2019, and I actually had songs that I wrote before 2019, but I deleted everything. I started completely new, started from scratch, and I will say that as terrible as it is, the pandemic enabled me in 2020 to really sit down and finish the record. And, you know, otherwise it would have been really difficult. And I was forced home, you know, with this lockdown and yeah.
So when you started composing the songs for Paint the Sky, did you already knew that you're gonna that there's gonna be another singer than before that you want to ask Damian? Or was he already on board when you started?
Yeah. I told him right from the beginning. I sent him a message. I knew him actually from the early 2000s. We were already in touch back in the day. We had already, you know, we met each other in Paris in the early 2000s. You know, we had dinner together. We already listened some music and planned to do something together, but for some strange reason that never happened. And when
he's always so busy, right, with 10,000 projects.
Yeah, and to be honest, I was busy too, because at one moment I started to work in a music studio and be a studio manager, and then I started to work in France for movies and TV soundtracks and stuff, and I kind of stopped for a while producing albums, you know. And yeah, I wanted to make a progressive rock record, and I was thinking that it would be very nice to have an English singer who speaks perfect English and who also writes in perfect English, so he was the natural choice, you know.
So he also did the lyrics?
Yeah. He did everything. I made only the music. I sent the music to him, and he took care of the story, the lyrics, everything. It's really a 50-50 work, you know, common work. Yeah.
Wow. So having a look at the core band, I mean, Joop Wolters on guitars is a long time collaborator with you, right?
Yes, he's almost what you can call a brother from another mother. And I took him with me live also. You mentioned before, live at P60. He was live with me. He was obviously my first guitar player already on Lyric Metal in 2005, but I knew him from before. And I can't imagine doing anything without him. So yeah, he also plays bass on Paint the Sky. I asked him to tackle both guitar and bass. So yeah, in the future it might be a problem to play live, but hey, for now live music doesn't exist anymore, at least temporarily, so we have the time to check it out. But I love his bass playing so much. I mean, he's a true guitar hero. He's incredible on guitars, but his bass, honestly, it's surreal. He sounds just like, maybe it's the Yes fanboy in me, but he sounds just like Chris Squire sometimes. It's impressive. Yeah.
But there's another guest musicians on the bass on the album, right? Who is that?
Yeah, Tony Franklin.
Yes, wow.
Yes.
That's a big name as well.
yeah. From Blue Murder. I discovered him first on Derek Sherinian's Planet X album, you know. Yeah, I love Tony. I've done a few songs with him on bass through the years.
I don't find it right. Here it is. That's the one. That's where.
Yeah.
That's where I discovered.
I love Derek.
His Tony Franklin's bass on Black Utopia. Yes.
It's fantastic. Oh, man. And also on that first Planet X album, I mean, the one with Virgil and the album with Tony. Wow. Yeah. Fantastic player.
But we were talking about the core band. There's one more member that's Jelly Cardarelli, right?
Yes.
On the drums and I mean, following a little bit your social media, and the last time it also looked like you also became like two brothers from another mother and had
exactly.
have a lot of fun together. And he did he also kind of help you produce the album, right?
Oh yes, definitely. He's in my opinion He's one of the best drummers right now. I mean, if people didn't hear of him, I'm sure that they will pretty soon. He's incredible. And he is also an amazing sound engineer and record producer. He actually produced the last record from Adagio, French metal band, you know. And yeah, for me, it was natural to ask him to take care of the sound, because drums is a big part. And if he's taking the time to mix drums, then of course, you know, we can mix everything in.
He's already at it.
yeah, exactly. And he did an incredible job. Of course, I love his drum sound.
Yeah, cool. So, even though this project or this band still has your last name as a name, Lalu, would you consider it more a band or a solo project?
No, I think it's a project. But it's difficult. I think the right term is band project. Okay. That's funny because it doesn't exist in French. In French, we don't have a term for band project. That's typically English. But yeah, it's like, for example, you have all these big superstars like Steve Vai. For example, Steve Vai made his own band called Vai, for example, and I know that Devin Townsend had different nomination with the Devin Townsend Project and Devin Townsend and probably some other, and I just used my name when I it actually dates back, as you say, in the early 2000s. I was working for Ubi myself, and the you know, the ex-singer of Dreamscape, I think it was their first album that he sang on. Very. And I started actually being a keyboard player and composer for Ubi back in the day. And then I wanted to do my own thing, and I just put my name on it. It was Lalu. And it was 4 letters. It was simple. It was easy. And yeah. It sounds strange, it sounds weird, so it's good, it's progressive. So
and it is short, and you've got a beautiful logo from Matthias Noren.
Matthias, yes, fantastic.
All right, we tackled the basics of the album, but there's more people to hear on the album, and the biggest surprise I thought was, of course, on the title track. Who's on the title track? Tell us.
Open the Sky, Steve Walsh.
Yeah,
Tony Franklin. So
how did you get him out of retirement?
It was actually recorded some years ago. It was a common contact of my manager back in the day.
Oh wow!
My manager was in contact with him, and it was a music session, I think, that he recorded 2 times. I think Steve made 1 take, and then at some point he had to undergo surgery or something, and he made a new take. I got a second recording that is the one you hear on the album. And he even corrected some mistakes in my lyrics. I think 1 or a couple of words or something, because I actually wrote the parts that he's singing back in the day. But yeah, I am really proud to have him on the album, because, you know, my parents had a progressive band in the 70s, and they used to cover Kansas songs. And for example, my mother was pregnant. I was in her belly, and she was live playing Kansas songs with my dad, you know, and the band on stage. So I have been fed this music even before being born, and so of course it's a big honor, you know, to have Steve on the album. Really cool.
Yeah, his addition to the song is really cool, and it also fits well with Damian taking over and stuff, you know.
Yes.
So yeah, I think the other ones are most of the other ones are also returning players for as guests on Lalu. I mean, Jens Johansson also also had before on other Lalu albums, and Simone Mularoni, of course.
yes.
And then who else do I see? Alessandro Del Vecchio.
And Alessandro plays a solo on the title track, and he took care of the mastering of the whole record. Yeah.
Ah, nice. That's great. Yeah. And then there's, of course, there was on the first single that you had Jordan Rudess doing a solo.
Yes.
How it is for you as how is it for you as a keyboard player to ask other keyboard players to play on your album? Do you think they can really, you know, give the song or the album something more that you couldn't?
Yeah, it's like that. I mean, I don't see myself really like a keyboard player. I'm not a keyboard wizard like Jordan, for example, or Jens. I write the songs. My keyboards, I mean, I play them because that's the way that I write the songs, and then they are okay for what I do. But there are some parts in which I might want, you know, some pyrotechnics, and I hear some soloing, and in that case, I prefer to ask people who are good at these things, like Jens, for example, or Jordan, as you mentioned, or even Alex Argento is on the bonus track. Those are people who are very good at soloing, and I love them. I am a big fan, so I'm really happy whenever I hear a part, and I'm like, oh man, it would sound great for Jens. Then yeah, I know that I can ask him, and it's really cool. And it was the same, for example, for the piano of this last track, which is a piano vocal kind of thing. And I asked Vikram Shankar, the keyboard player, you know, of Silent Skies, the side project of Tom Englund, you know, Tom Englund and Vikram Shankar. And I'm a big fan of that. And Damian told me that he would really love to have a piano vocal kind of a piece on the album, you know, and I'm not a great pianist. And at that time, I was listening a lot of the stuff that Vic was doing. And I was like, hey, you know what? I discovered this amazing guy, and I told Damian about him. And it obviously worked really good because Damian became a very big fan of Vic. I think they might even record something together one day, but it was really cool. And I'm so happy. I love that little kind of interlude, you know, piano vocal piece. Really emotional. And I just love to, it's not about me being in a spotlight or anything. I just want to make the music that I like. You know, I see myself more like a composer than just a performer, you know.
Yeah, that's super cool. The new Silent Skies album is also around the corner.
Exactly. I cannot wait to listen to it. Yeah. Incredible. It gives me chills down my spine whenever I listen to music.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And you just mentioned this one little interlude.
Yep.
And
all of the lights.
All of the lights, exactly. Yeah. But there's another one before which is a Sweet Asylum, right?
Sweet Asylum. Yeah, it's Jupe's interlude. I asked him for that one. Like this one was my request. Yeah,
a 12 string, really beautiful sounding 12-string acoustic guitar.
Yeah. There. By the way, he's calling right now. I don't know if you can see. Jupe is calling me. He has no clue that I am speaking of him with you right now. And I will be really evil. I will put airplane mode because otherwise we'll try.
Say hi to him later when you call him back. And
okay. Yeah,
absolutely beautiful work he's done on the album. And
I'm a big fan of his. He's my favorite guitar player.
I had the pleasure to listen to it a couple of times in the last days, the promo stream, and I really didn't expect that from you. I mean, of course, I knew the singles, but the whole album is just really beautiful, a really great. You managed to make this new sound for Lalu, like it was always, you were always doing this kind of music with this project.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think I see it like some kind of a reboot, if you will. And to be honest, we are already 3 songs in the next album. I already made 3 songs with same lineup. It will be with Damian on vocals and same band. And I mean, we are really going more down the rabbit hole. I think you will like it. If you like this one, I think. I mean, it's more of the same in that direction, but probably even more prog, because I want to explore here and there some longer, because this kind of modern heavy yes formula is really like how to say, a dumbed down version of yes. I mean, it's way simpler. We don't have the complexity of yes or anything, but I'm really digging what I'm doing right now with Lalu, so I'm continuing
That's awesome. You just mentioned that it is kind of a reboot. Did you think for a second maybe to give it a new name, a new project name, or did you just say, doesn't matter?
No. I thought I would continue, because again, I always cite him as example because I'm also a big fan. But you see, for example, a guy like Vi has made albums that were completely different, the one from the other, and the same as Damian. I mean, all my influences, when I look at them, even yes, actually, if you listen the radical change of their music in the 80s compared to the 70s, there is a point where a band can bring a completely different sound. Yeah. But I think that Paint the Sky is more like a transition. Like if you listen the opening, the opening track, you can hear that it has some vibes like oniric metal in the keyboards, the same with some parts of We Are Strong in the middle. It has some moments like you can hear that it's still the same project.
If you are enjoying this interview, please head over to theprogspace.com for more reviews, articles, pictures and interviews, all about progressive music. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. theprogspace.com.
Actually, Reset to Preset gives me I don't know which part of the song it is now. Maybe the like I don't think it's the chorus or something, but somehow the bridge or something maybe gives me massive Saga vibes.
Oh, I'm a big fan of Saga. Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because I was dreaming when I wrote the opener. I was dreaming so hard to have as a guest Michael Sadler on this one. Just like we did the Damian and Steve Wolf thing, I wanted Michael Sadler as guest vocalist on the opener. And one time I wanted to ask him because I found him on Facebook, and it was in 2020, during lockdown and stuff. And he was complaining that too many people send him messages and he had no time to reply, something like that. And I was like, okay, I don't want to piss one of my heroes and be the annoying guy, trying to get him to sing a song on his record. So I just stay away, from him. But it's funny that you say that. It's a big compliment, actually. Thank you so much.
Yeah, the other maybe one of the most surprising songs would be "Standing at the Gates of Hell," though. Because like suddenly you go full on into jazz territory, right?
Yeah, we had a lot of laughs about that track when we did it. I think it's Jupe who mentioned the name wrong CD. He said it's like you put the wrong CD in the player. And I actually wanted to open the album with this song. It was so funny. It's like you insert the disc and you wouldn't understand what's going on. It's like, did I just put the right CD in the player? Or you go to a live show and you start with this track and it's like you are at the wrong live show, Yeah, I like it because actually it's been done very fast. I think I started getting the idea one night at 11 o'clock and by 5 o'clock the night it was done,
And actually this kind of jazzy music is much more jammable as like strictly composed prog or metal stuff, right?
It was definitely a jam. I mean, everybody did like one take. Jelly on drums did one take. There is actually a trick, is that this song has multiple drums part in it. A little bit like the current version of King Crimson. When you go to see King Crimson live, they have 3 drummers right now, I believe.
Yeah,
and
that's correct.
I went for the same thing with that song. It has 3 drum parts in it, and Jelly played the 3 drum parts in one take, each of them. It's like a big jam.
That's That's crazy. I'm gonna listen to it attentively next time I listen to the album, and I'm gonna try to hear it. We were already talking about the last song, which is kind of the title track again, but very different. Tell us what's different at the end with Paint the Sky.
What is different for?
For Paint the Sky at the end, the last song.
Yeah. You mean for the instrumental version? Yes. Well, the first version of the song back in the day when I wrote it, I was in contact with Simon Phillips, and Simon Phillips really liked my music and invited me one time to a Toto show in Paris. And so I actually went with Jupe. Jupe came to Paris. So we went to the show. We met Simon afterwards. And I gave him my composition. And some months after the tour, he got to do some stuff on drums on Paint.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that I already had written that song even before making Atomic Arc. It was already done. And when I came to make the new record, I decided to use it like the flagship title. It will be like Paint the Sky. This song will be the main... it's like the album is an excuse to have this song on it. And I was thinking, like, I wanted us to be like a band, like a trio. I mean, I couldn't Damian, of course, but I mean instrumentally. And I didn't want to have the drums of Jelly everywhere, and suddenly you would have Simon in the middle of the record. And I say to Jelly, you know what? I want you to record again this song your own way, like we have done the rest of the album, and it's okay. The version with Simon, we will close the album with it, and we will go crazy, instrumentally, like Toto is doing sometimes with instrumental tracks, And so it was really cool at the beginning. Jelly was afraid that people would compare him to Simon and, this kind of stuff. But no, I think that he really has his own take, and I really love the version with Jelly too. I mean, I really like this version.
So in the end, as a whole album, this, like the last Paint the Sky instrumental version is not meant as a bonus track, but it's a part of the whole album, or what do you feel?
Yeah, it's written that it's a bonus, but I feel it like the credits roll, the end credits of a movie or something. It's like you take the theme, the main song, and you can go crazy and do what you want, because anyway, it's the end of the album, and nobody cares. You can make a 7 minutes long instrumental and it's fine, So yeah, we had fun with this version.
I mean, on a prog album, you could do this in the middle as well.
Yeah.
Nobody would care.
Yeah, it's true. That's why the song we talked about before, Standing at the Gates of Hell, I knew that it was really crazy to go in a full-on jazz improv, section, and but it's like you said, it's prog, so yeah, there are not really there are no rules actually. Yeah.
That's cool. That's I'm super happy that this album happened. I didn't expect it either way, because I mean it's been so many years since Atomic Arc. But yeah, it's a very, very, very cool surprise at the beginning of this year. Viv, you mentioned already that you listen to more prog rock now and stuff, and you like the old stuff. But given that it's still the beginning of a new year, was there any new albums that came out last year in 2021 that you particularly liked, that you thought, oh, this is amazing?
Honestly, I spent the past year listening to Old Yes and Genesis and King Crimson, and I don't listen music that often. I mean, I listen to a lot of music, but mostly I'm listening the same records over and over again. I'm completely out of the loop. But right now I cannot remember the name. Recently I've discovered from a friend of mine a band. I think it's a band from Sweden. I'm not sure, which is trying to emulate the sound of Fragile by Yes, for example, by buying the same amplifiers, the same mixing consoles, the same instruments to sound exactly like this 72 type of recordings. And I forgot the name, but I really liked it. I don't have it in mind right now, but I heard it recently and I was like, wow, that's really cool. It's actually the opposite of what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying. Yeah.
It doesn't ring a bell right now. Just two other bands come to mind, and one is Italian, The Watch, who play very much Genesis-like music. They do a lot of Genesis tours, like they do Genesis cover versions on tours. They cover whole Genesis tours from the 70s, what they played, the set list and stuff. But they also have their like original music. And I think last year they also had a new album out, The Watch. That would be the same thing for Genesis. And then there is a Canadian duo, that Crown Lands, I think, that is very, very much sounding like Rush.
Okay. Yeah, those bands influenced everybody. I mean, I don't know this song, but I found the name. It's called Wobbler.
Ah, yes, they're from Norway.
Yeah, Norway. So I'm sorry for people of Norway. I say Sweden. I'm not too much familiar with the band. I know that they were from the north, and I thought it was
close enough. But they're amazing. They're definitely amazing. Absolutely.
I heard a friend of mine made me listen to the last record, and I was blown away. And I have to delve into it. I mean, I have to listen to it. But I love that. I'm a big sucker for the 70s type sound. That is the funny thing, even if it's not what I'm aiming for myself. I mean, I want to make prog music, but what I want to do is to have the spirit of it, like maybe from the keyboards with mellotron, organs, electric keys, and at the same time a modern production. Like you can hear that it's been recorded today and not the 70s. I want to make, I don't know if we can say, some kind of pure progressive metal that would be a blend of really prog music and a heavier edge, a more modern edge. And not like, for example, it's also a big influence of mine. I love Spock's Beard, the Flower Kings, but they still have this retro sound to them. And I want to aim for it. It's difficult actually to make some kind of progressive music that would have also a ever modern age to it. But
a funny thing that a lot of artists you mentioned have new albums coming out. Like we already said the new Silent Sky album is coming out. There's now everything slipped my mind. I'm having a blackout. I'm sorry.
No problem.
What else did you mention? Steve Vai. There's a new Steve Vai record coming.
Yeah, exactly.
There was 2 singles already.
And one called Zeus, I think.
Yeah, that was the second one, and but I like the first one a little bit better. I mean, Devin is always composing and writing, and I mean, he did 2 ambient albums last year, and but I think a proper band album should come this year from Devin Townsend. And the Flower Kings.
He has the Puzzle. And Devin is making a new album called The Puzzle, I think.
That is already out. Actually.
It's already out. Oh, yes. You see, when I say that I'm out of the loop, I'm a big fan of Devin, and I didn't even know that this was out. So
I think the upcoming album is called should be called Light Works or something. And the Flower Kings just dropped the 2nd or 3rd single already from the new album By Royal Decree. And the Spock's Beard, I don't know, but the almost Spock's beard, Pattern Seeking Animals, are also releasing an album next month or so. Which is basically Spock's beard. Have you heard about the band Pattern Seeking Animals?
Isn't it with Ross Jennings? Is not because I know that there is something going on with Jennings, Morse, and
and DiVirgilio. That's another thing. That's another thing. That's the three of them.
No. So I didn't hear this other one. But I saw the name for sure.
Yeah, Pattern Seeking Animals. I think it's going to be the third album already, and it's led by John Berghold, who did in the last 20 years or 30 years a lot of co-composing with Spock's beard. And it also has Ted Leonard on vocals and Dave Maris on bass, and very cool. Spock's beard spin-off.
But that's really cool. I like this type of music. I also love the first 5-6 albums of Spock's beard. I have so much memories with this music.
Yeah.
The Light, Beware of Darkness.
This weird cover, Kindness of Strangers.
I think this one is the most rock album that they have made. It's more like a rock album than just progressive, I think.
Yeah, it's. I mean, there's like the heavier stuff like Harm's Way on it, but there's also like The Good Don't Last and Flow are two awesome long tracks. And this one I got actually when I was maybe 15, 16. No, 16. I got it from the second-hand record because I just read somewhere this is supposed to be a great prog rock band. I had no idea. I just knew, I don't know, Pink Floyd and Dream Theater at this point. And so I put it on and I didn't connect with it. And 1 or 2 years later, I put it on again and then I absolutely fell in love with it.
I understand. For me, it's often the first one that you listen to that will mark you forever. For me, it was Beware of Darkness. Oh my God. Yeah. Fantastic stuff. But I just realized I listened to a lot of Dirty Loops last year also. And I'm a big fan of Jonah Nilsson, of course. I made myself a playlist with all of that stuff, the Dirty Loops, Jonah Nilsson, Cory Wong, all that stuff. I have a playlist and
That is absolutely understandable. It's just like this kind of music is it's puts you in such a good mood.
Yeah.
And exactly. a lot of prog is so sad always and melancholic.
It's true. And
it's a different vibe, but like the musicianship is so crazy. They're so amazing.
I know. And the production, everything. There is Quincy Jones behind it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Stevie Vai, he played also on the Jonah Nilsson record.
Yeah, right.
On this track called Diamond Ring, fantastic guitar solo in there. Yeah, I love this band.
Great, that's cool. That's something different in the mix there, right? That's not so apparent as influence on Paint the Sky. Viv, it was such a pleasure talking to you. It's great fun. All the best with the release of Paint the Sky. It's an amazing album. You guys out there should definitely check it out. Go find Lalu on social media. Follow the social media pages and get the album Paint the Sky. Awesome musicians on there, as you heard, with Damian Wilson and also Steve Walsh and a whole host of other amazing musicians.
The album which could have got Michael Sadler but didn't, but we still think it's like Saga. Actually, the song on the album that is the most like Saga, I think, is Lost in Conversation. All this first part that Damian is singing, I mean, the first half of Lost in Conversation is totally Saga. Like, you can imagine that Michael would sing this, and just try it. And
that was the perfect tagline for the album. You heard it
doesn't
first.
feature Michael Sadler. Yeah.
You heard it first here on the Progtalks. Thank you so much, guys out there, for listening. As always, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and maybe also get us a cup of coffee or tea. That helps us out a lot. As always, you find all the links in the description. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourselves. And until next time, keep spreading that prog love.
The Progtalks, produced by the Progspace. Main host, Rune Belsvik-Reinås. Produced by Rune Belsvik-Reinås, Vanessa and Matthias Kirsch. All graphics and animations by Vanessa Kirsch. Intro theme by Giuseppe Negri. Outro theme by Zach Munowitz. This was the Progtalks by the Progspace. See you in a week.